Cholesterol, glucose, blood pressure, testosterone, all these things that get thrown at us left, right, and center that say we are or may not be healthy. Now, I'm Ollie Matthews, certified functional medicine consultant, and I want to tell you the truth about cholesterol and how lowering your cholesterol too much may actually be causing a negative impact on your testosterone levels. Now, I work with a lot of guys that are in their 40s and above, and I see this massive, massive epidemic, shall we say, that testosterone is lower than ever before. We're seeing low moods, we're seeing low sex drive, we're seeing more fat being laid down around the waist, and we're seeing more shapes where it's just smaller in the shoulders, wider in the waist, because testosterone is just lower. Not only that, there's more depression, there's more people waking up during the night, there's more anxiety than ever. Then the things guys don't talk about too much openly about erectile dysfunction and good quality erections when it comes to having a good sex life with their partners. And all this could be down to testosterone levels. And I do a lot of talks on testosterone, put a lot of information out about testosterone, and it's not just this thing for building muscles. It's a real big vitality hormone. It's a sex hormone in guys. Women have it as well. But when we look at things like cholesterol, we're thrown all this information from the media that cholesterol is bad. And that if you have high cholesterol, you're going to have heart disease, you're going to have cardiovascular problems, all these things happen, and metabolic disease and everything going on. And then you're told, go and have some statins to lower it. But is that detrimental to your overall health? Because we need cholesterol. We need cholesterol in order to produce testosterone. And I'll get that to into a little bit. But what we actually have to look at is that when I do a blood panel with someone, and when I see blood panels that doctors have done, we usually see that they've done cholesterol. First off, when I get the panels from doctors, a lot of the times it's saying total cholesterol is high. Now, if we are to go by the generic medical terms of good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, what this total cholesterol is a marker of both your good cholesterol, your high density lipoproteins, your HDL cholesterol, and your low cholesterol, your low density lipoproteins, your LDL put together. Now, if you have good levels of good cholesterol and lowish levels of bad cholesterol, your total cholesterol could be high. What total cholesterol tells us is not a lot, really. What it actually tells us is if you look at a football game and there's 6 goals, was it 6-0? Was it a total whitewash, or was it 3-3? Was it a bit equal? Was it a draw? And we need to look deeper into that. So we need to look at what your LDL levels are, your HDL levels are. Then you have non-LDL cholesterol, your low density lipoproteins. You then have triglycerides, which is a marker which we then can look at for if there's issues with glucose and other things going on. Now, if we see someone with high LDL, which people usually show on tests, and when we look at Western medicine, the marker will be above 3. We usually see people with low HDL. I've seen this a lot on blood tests. We see total above 5, and we see high triglycerides. We know we need to do something with their health. And when I speak to them, what we see is that they can improve their diet a lot. They're usually having a lot of alcohol, processed foods, smoking. There's high levels of stress in there. Now, the trouble that we have is that now, I'm not going to be one for conspiracy theories or anything like this, but you can probably Google and find out that doctors get paid for prescribing something called statins. More in America. It's getting more and more prominent in the UK. But go and find out the information yourself and see if that's true or not. Because I wouldn't want to think that a doctor would be paid for prescribing a medicine that someone didn't potentially need, and then levels have actually been told on blood panels that they can go a little bit lower to make more people think they need statins. I mean, I'm not saying that, but doctors want to prescribe these statins. Then there's side effects that come from these statins when we're not actually needing to have those statins in the first place. So what is cholesterol needed for? As I've said, this table is not really what you need to look at, but this is what we call steroid pathways. And we know cholesterol creates something called pregnenolone, which then goes into hydroxypregnenolone, which can then go into DHA, which androstenedione, I can't even say that one, which then makes testosterone, which can then be made to estrogen, and then dihydrotestosterone. Then there's things like cortisol. All these things come from cholesterol. Now, There are some studies that show that cortisol, there's things like a pregnenolone still, that pregnenolone makes cortisol. So if we have too much stress in our life, that takes the raw materials that will create testosterone. Some studies show it exists, some say it doesn't exist. The debate is still out there. But what we do know is that if you don't have enough of your cholesterol, you are not going to be able to make enough testosterone. Because if you want to build a big house, you need enough bricks. Cholesterol are those bricks. They are the cement, they are the workers, they are the things that get put together, the first raw materials to make the testosterone. So if we're told we have high cholesterol and we're told you need to lower that, go and have this medication for statins, then we are not going to have enough raw materials to build testosterone. But then we have to look into something else, which is becoming more and more focused on in the media, in social media, in influencers talking about it all the time, and that's blood glucose. Now, we have this marker of a thing called HbA1c, which is the amount of glucose in your red blood cells over the lifespan of those red blood cells. Now, those red blood cells in your body could last between 90 to 100 days, difference between men and women, like how long they are, how healthy you are, and so forth. But that long-term level of HbA1c, Western medicine will say they want it below 40. I would ideally like to see it below about 36, 37 on a blood test with a client. Now, this is also different between your long-term glucose readings and your short-term glucose readings. Like, I would also like to see with clients to do fasted glucose levels and to see them between 4.2 and 5 here in the UK, or around 80 and 90 in the US readings. That will tell me if someone is starting their day with okay levels of glucose in their blood, not too high, because glucose is actually inflammatory when it's in the blood. And what actually happens when we have these good cholesterol and bad cholesterol is that I need to ask a question to say, why is bad cholesterol high? If we ask a lot of doctors, Western medicine doctors, they will tell you because someone's eating too much red meat, they're eating too much fat, they're eating too many eggs, having too much butter. But actually, when your LDL cholesterol is high, that is a sign to me that there is inflammation going on in the body. If I see just the LDL being high. So I need to find out what is causing that inflammation. Now, if we think about your arteries, now, when your arteries are pushing blood through, there's cholesterol going to be in this blood. And that people say it gets clogged up to the arteries. What we actually have been misled is that sugar is in this blood as well. Now, my wife has had plenty of these sugar scrubs on her face. And every time she has it, some of my friends have had it, they scrub the sugar on their face. I've not had something. You can probably tell from how bad my skin might well be. You can judge that. But scrubbing their face, we see the face just get really inflamed from that sugar. Now, if you imagine sugar is in your blood going through these arteries, that is then scrubbing to the side of these arteries, causing inflammation. Now, cholesterol is getting blamed for what sugar is actually doing. So we need to look deeper into what is actually going on with the sugar and what is causing that inflammation. Not just saying this person needs to stop eating red meat, stop eating eggs, stop having butter, when they're the things that are going to help with cholesterol. If we can lower that inflammation from making people's blood glucose levels better, we're going to see better arterial blood flow. We're going to see lowered levels of triglycerides. We're going to lower the level of inflammation. So we're going to lower LDL levels. And we're going to improve the body's ability to deliver good cholesterol around the body. So we're going to see higher levels of HDL. But how do we actually lower these bad cholesterol levels? Well, we have to look first off at how is an individual exercising? How are they moving? Are they doing weight training? If we look at weight training, squeezing the muscles is going to pump blood through, which is going to help the body deliver. We still need to deliver that glucose to where it needs to actually be utilized or to be stored, or is it going to be burned for fuel? So we need to make sure we're doing enough exercise. We also need to look at nutrition. So are they getting enough omega-3 fatty acids in there? By having good butter, good fish, good meat, but actually eating these good fats to allow them to have those raw materials to start delivering them to create hormones and so forth. And also looking deeper into nutrition by making sure there's plenty of fiber in there. The amount of times I look at clients' diets and there's just minimum, I say clients, new clients, when they start with me, we then look at improving these, but minimum levels of vegetables. And I say to people, how would you want your child to eat? And they say, oh, I want to make sure they get their vegetables in and eat healthy and have their salads, have their greens and so forth. Well, why aren't you doing it? One thing that I look at to like being a dad is that I want to make sure my daughter is actually able to see me as a role model, and I eat the foods that I need to eat, and I treat my health, my body with respect, so she can treat her body with respect and start to love her body as well. So eating like an adult, I call it, eating plenty of vegetables throughout the day, multiple different vegetables, eating your nutrients, eating real food, and having good levels of fatty acids. And the third one of how we lower our cholesterol level, shall we say, or our blood glucose levels, which is really the thing we need to work on, is our stress management. Don't get me wrong. I need to work on my stress management as well. Some things hit me harder than they should do, but we need to work on, are we having good effective breathing techniques? Are we doing things like yoga nidra, like non-sleep deep rest meditation? Have we got good airflow? Are we just thinking about things a bit too deeply? Like, are we overthinking things when, if we look at things logically, some things aren't as bad as we think they are? And what can we do with our stress management? Can we speak about it? Trust me, as a guy going into my fourth decade, into my 40s, like, I know there's been times when I haven't spoke about things I should speak about. But I'm lucky to have a really good network of people around me. But maybe guys that are a little bit older than me, so many of us guys don't want to ask for, reach out and ask for help to those people around you. Don't let things just simmer within and get worse and worse and worse. Start speaking about the things that you're going through. Now, as I said, Western medicine says stop having red meat. It says stop having eggs. They say stop having butter. Start those three things and you'll improve the things that they're telling you will improve by stopping them. Now, this has a massive impact further down the line on your hormones, because if we do lower those bricks, we're not going to have enough to build a big mansion. So we need to make sure that if we are wanting to have healthy hormone levels, which is going to make us feel better, move better, make us have less craving, so we're going to have better ability to follow nutritional protocols, it's going to have much better stress management levels, then we need to get the raw materials in to help our cholesterol levels. So have those raw materials. And the knock-on effect, it's not just on that, like on sex hormones, on testosterone or estrogen, progesterone, or anything like that. This can have a further effect on your sleep and then thyroid levels and gut health and all these things further down the line. Now, it seems like a lot of things to take on board. I get that. Absolutely get that. If you feel you need support with this, you want to book in for a health strategy session, then drop me a message. Let's book in, let's have a chat and just see exactly what we can do to help you improve your health straight away. Thank you so much for watching.